Well, at this point in time, you might be looking forward to the next holiday time. And for most of us, that's probably going to be around Easter time. A wonderful time, in fact, to go camping. And so what a good time to talk to our finance guy, Gavin Martin, all about having a family holiday on a budget, because there are a lot of dimensions to the way our finances stretch when it comes to having a holiday. Gavin Martin, welcome back to 2020.
G'day Neil, great to be with you again. I'm looking forward to those holidays.
And just remembering too that earlier this year you had a fabulous family holiday in which you took the family camping. And I wanted to have a bit of a focus on camping and a budget holiday, because there's actually tremendous benefits to actually getting out into the great outdoors with our children.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We had an absolute ball. We went down to Wilson's Promontory in Victoria. I haven't actually been there before, but it's a beautiful place, and it's a budget location because I think it was about $30 a night that we paid for our camping experience. 8 people can be camping on a location for $30 a night, and it's not just the finances as well, it's actually the community environment that I love about camping as well. And there's nothing better than getting back from a holiday and not having this debt burden that you've had to fork out a lot of money and use the credit card to actually pay for the holiday. You can actually come back and then not have that overhanging burden of debt that you've spent on a more expensive holiday.
Some people like to boast that they only like to camp under 5 stars. And that is, a lot of. I do tend to hear that more from women than I do from men.
Yeah, my wife would probably align to that idea.
And having the budget holiday isn't always just taking the cheapskate approach, because there's tremendous benefits, isn't there, in actually getting away from televisions and computers and getting out into the great outdoors where you can really experience real life.
The first time camping experience where we went to a non-powered site, but I'm a big advocate now. It's great to... the thing about having no power is that you can't charge all those, the phones and the computers and those sorts of things, and so you can't actually watch them and can't use them, and that's... I think that's a great benefit in itself, and so you spend more time together in community, but it doesn't necessarily just need to be the camping experience, as you mentioned. It could be a cost-effective holiday by swapping homes with somebody else. I have a friend who created a website about swapping homes with people both in Australia and around the world, so that you could have the accommodation effectively free, and it's just the travel cost that you have to get to your holiday destination.
I have enjoyed some camping adventures in earlier years. My kids are starting to get older now, and it was great while they were younger. But once they hit teenage years, they sometimes get the idea that camping isn't as much fun as it used to be, so they don't always appreciate it so much. And I've got daughters. But when it comes to camping, our children are the real primary beneficiaries of actually having that time, because they've got the undivided attention of mum and dad too.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, camping down at Wilson's Prom, there are a lot of teenagers, and they seem to be having a lot of fun. But I can understand with girls that the dusty and sometimes a little bit rougher situations aren't always the most desirable for young teenage girls. But yeah, I can't advocate it enough. I think it's a wonderful situation.
And coming into a time of year, Gavin, when it's like the perfect camping time, I always like the idea of thinking about Easter. You've got the end of summer, you're into autumn, but it's not winter yet. It's like the perfect time to have a family getaway.
Yeah, in Victoria as well. I'm not sure what it's like up in Queensland, but in Victoria, the beauty about coastal holidays around Easter, and for those that are into surfing, is that the waves are also the best as well. Yeah, you can get some good swell. So yeah, timing your holiday around the things that you enjoy. It might not be surfing, but it might be in autumn. You might want to go where there's great colours of leaves falling. So yeah, it depends on what your particular interest is, but you can always find good quality, cheap holidays that don't blow your budget, and enable you to spend time either as a family or with friends.
And Gavin, a good time when you're on a holiday where it's not, electronic activity after electronic activity is that you've got time to talk. And I guess things like family plans, and, you know, we're always talking finance, but the family finances and, you know, plans and budgets and things like that, you can think clearly when you're away from everything.
Yeah, exactly. In our particular holiday, the camping holiday early on in the year, we were so busy taking our youngsters to the toilet and off to the beach and so many different locations, and then at night you sort of hit the sack and you're out to it. We didn't get the chance to do that on this particular holiday, but it is often a great opportunity to, you know, plan your year out, to step back away from the everyday busyness and plan out your year, because your financial goals really should just be a reflection of your broader life goals. And so if you have time to reflect on those goals prayerfully and then line up your financial goals with those, then that's you know, great to do. And if you can do that whilst you're away on holidays, I think that's a logical point in time to do it.
Always interested in Christian perspectives on holiday destinations. Now, this is a little bit different. I don't know whether you've noticed this, but sometimes, depending on the circles you're in, you might have people in your local church who always will tell you about their wonderful holiday to somewhere like Hawaii or some, you know, exotic destination. There is a sense, isn't there, that being too proud of the exotic holiday, you can miss something when you can just have just as good a time, and perhaps even more valuable time if you have the low-budget escape. Yes,
being a finance person, I always think through those implications when I hear about those holidays, and can't help thinking about the stress that the you know, additional expenditure causes and the alternative uses of that. That's not saying that you should never go on overseas expensive holidays. Of course, there's a time for that, and then maybe a time for a mission trip overseas, where that it might be a bit more expensive than a you know, local holiday. But I think you really need to weigh up the pros and cons of those sort of larger, more expensive holidays.
Yes, there's a time for the expensive holiday and there's a time for the budget holiday, and not being too proud to go with what you need to at the time, or what you know is important at the time, is really an important part of those sorts of decisions when you're making your plan for a holiday.
Yeah, so one of the opportunities that we'll try to pursue is getting the kids involved with Christian programs, SU programs that are often at the campgrounds around the place as well. So there's an opportunity to not only have a holiday, but potentially to also encourage the kids in their faith by the programs that are on as well at a low cost. You can also, having a large family, we're always looking out for how do you do holidays cost effectively interstate with a larger family. And I know some other large families go to other Christian campgrounds when they holiday interstate, because often they're not utilised during those holiday periods, and they're able to get the whole family be accommodated in a cost effective way as well.
We did that once with our family. You know, the foot of the Blue Mountains there was a Christian campsite, and there was no other campers there when we ended up there as a family, and we just had a fabulous time. And really, it's one of those alternatives that's not always front of mind when you're thinking about planning your holiday, but there are Christian campsites all over the country, and they have often access for family holiday makers during off-season time.
Yeah, we haven't actually done it yet, but it's on our agenda to check those out and to get a bit further interstate in some of the holidays.
Well, Gavin, always good getting insights when it comes to finance on all sorts of issues, and as we've said before, it basically applies to every area of our life. Good getting your insights on family holidays and our finances, doing it on the budget, and making a plan that's in line with God's destiny for our lives too. Gavin Martin, I'll point people to your website at www.cornerstonewealth.com.au. Gavin, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for being with us today on 2020.
Thanks again, Neil. Great to talk with you.